This morning is following the latest job numbers in our state. In the last couple of months, more than 1,900 employees were told their jobs would be cut. The announcements came in something called WARN notices.
The wave of mass layoffs hitting some of America's largest employers is emerging as the clearest sign yet that the U.S. labor market, once described as resilient, is beginning to weaken. From logistic giants to tech leaders, tens of thousands of jobs are being cut across industries.
Got breaking news this morning, massive job cuts at Amazon. Overnight, the company announcing it'll eliminate approximately 14,000 roles. This is the largest corporate layoff of the year, one of the largest in Amazon's history.
Meanwhile, over in the United States, President Donald Trump has once again stressed that foreign workers are needed to train American workers.
America was promised a manufacturing revival, factories returning, jobs coming home. A new industrial golden age built behind tariff walls. But 7 months later, the reality looks very different. 67,000 manufacturing jobs are gone. Not projected, not threatened, gone. And while Washington insists the economy is thriving, companies across North America are doing something unexpected. They're calling Ottawa. This isn't a rumor. It isn't speculation. It's happening quietly, inside boardrooms and investment committees that no longer trust the ground beneath them. The very policies designed to protect American industry have instead injected uncertainty so deep that long-term planning has become almost impossible. And in manufacturing, uncertainty is fatal. The tariffs were introduced with confidence. Higher costs on imported steel and aluminum were supposed to force companies to build at home. Analysts predicted new plants. Politicians promised blue-collar resurgence. The logic sounded simple. Make foreign inputs expensive and domestic production will rise. But manufacturing doesn't work on slogans. It works on timelines, supply chains, and predictability. What happened instead was contraction. Month after month, factories shed workers. Investments slowed. Expansion plans were paused or quietly canceled. Companies didn't rush to build, they waited. And waiting is the first sign of retreat. The problem wasn't just cost, it was chaos. A manufacturer facing a 50% tariff on steel has only bad options. Absorb the cost and destroy margins. Pass it on and lose competitiveness. Or scramble for alternative suppliers and disrupt quality and delivery schedules built over decades. None of those paths lead to confidence. They lead to hesitation, and hesitation spreads fast. Publicly, Washington continued to celebrate. The economy was graded an A, then an A+, then an A++. Inflation concerns were dismissed. Job losses were downplayed. But inside the data, the trend was unmistakable. Manufacturing was shrinking under a policy designed to save it. Economists began saying out loud what executives already felt. The strategy wasn't working, not partially, systematically. Then something else happened that few headlines connected. A prolonged government shutdown froze the very institutions responsible for measuring economic reality. No household surveys, no price data, no reliable signals. Businesses trying to decide where to invest billions were suddenly flying blind. For companies, that's a red line. Manufacturing decisions aren't quarterly bets. They're decade-long commitments. You don't build a plant without knowing the rules will still exist 5 years later. You don't relocate a supply chain if policy can reverse overnight. And you don't invest where the government itself can't guarantee basic continuity. This is where Canada enters the story. While American policy lurched, Ottawa stayed boring. Data released on schedule. Regulations remained consistent. Trade rules were clear. Officials consulted industry instead of surprising it. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud, just stability. And stability in this environment became an asset. Companies began asking quiet questions. Could Canadian facilities serve North American customers without the same volatility? Could supply chains operate with fewer shocks? Could long-term planning actually mean something again? The answers were increasingly yes. This wasn't about abandoning the United States. It was about hedging against unpredictability. Businesses didn't need perfection, they needed reliability. And they weren't finding it south of the border. The contrast was stark. In the United States, tariffs appeared overnight. Immigration rules tightened without warning, shrinking labor pools. Deficits ballooned, raising questions about fiscal sustainability. Policy commitments shifted with political pressure. Even the definition of success became disconnected from measurable outcomes. In Canada, change came slowly, deliberately, and with consultation. That difference matters more than ideology. Capital doesn't chase speeches, it chases frameworks. Executives don't say this publicly, but privately, the calculus is changing. If serving the North American market no longer requires exposure to U.S. policy turbulence, alternatives become attractive. Ontario, Quebec, Western manufacturing corridors. Locations that were once secondary are now being reevaluated. This is why phones in Ottawa are ringing. A steel-dependent manufacturer asking about sourcing options. An automotive supplier exploring contingency sites. A technology firm considering R&D expansion where immigration rules are predictable and data exists. These aren't political statements, they're risk assessments. The irony is sharp. Tariffs were meant to trap capital inside the United States. Instead, they revealed how sensitive modern manufacturing is to policy coherence. Cost matters, but confidence matters more. This isn't the first time economic pressure backfired, but it may be one of the clearest examples of how power erodes quietly. Not through confrontation, but through avoidance. Not through retaliation, but through redirection. Canada isn't winning because it outcompeted the United States. It's benefiting because it didn't destabilize itself. That's a crucial distinction. For American workers, this trend is dangerous. Manufacturing job losses rarely reverse gently. Historically, when momentum turns negative, it accelerates. The current decline may not be the bottom. It may be the early warning. And if companies finalize decisions now, the consequences will last years. Once a plant is built elsewhere, it doesn't come back easily. Supply chains don't reroute overnight. Skills migrate with capital. This is why the story matters beyond monthly job reports. It exposes a deeper shift in how economic power functions. In a global system where production is mobile and capital is cautious, unpredictability is punished, stability is rewarded, and slogans don't override spreadsheets. The United States still has unmatched advantages: market size, innovation capacity, talent. None of that disappeared. But advantage only converts into investment when policy doesn't undermine it. Canada understands this moment. It doesn't need to celebrate American difficulties. It only needs to remain steady. Every month of continued uncertainty elsewhere strengthens its position by default.